Good morning, Miss Bree. So we are the group 2 and today we are going to report about mathematical language and symbols. Now, what is language? Language is a systematic way of communication with other people, use of sounds or convention symbols. Now, when we say convention symbols, it is a fact, name, notation, or usage which is generally agreed upon by mathematicians. Now, example is PEMDAS rule, which we use for arithmetic operations wherein multiplication and division done next as you read from left to right. Now, majority of the mathematical names and symbols that we are using are conventional because they have been used by majority of math learners for many years. Now, language was invented to communicate ideas with others. So, language is a way that people understand each other. Next,
The language of mathematics was designed numbers, sets, functions, and perform operations. When we say numbers, there are different use of a numbers. Those are cardinal, ordinal, nominal, and as well as ratio. Also, we have set. When we say set, set is a mathematical model for a collection of different things. Now, as you can see, the example we have provided there, set E and set B have difference. However, they have also similarities. There are similarities found between them that can be read as A intersection B. When we say intersection, those are the list of elements found in the set. Function is an expression, rule, or law that defines a relationship between one variable, which is the independent variable, and the other variable is the dependent variable. Now, in the example that provided there, we have the inputs and the outputs. The input is considered as the independent variable since the input stands alone that isn't changed by the output. The output there stands as the dependent variable. The output depends on the input. So we also have the perform operations. The perform operations we have here PEMDAS rule. So in solving mathematics, we should simplify those what comes first in PEMDAS. So first is letter P. P stands for parentheses and followed by E stands for exponent and N stands for multiplication and D stands for division and A stands for addition and lastly S stands for subtraction. Next.
Now, let's move on to the difference between mathematical expression and mathematical sentences. A mathematical expression is a phrase that combines numbers, variables, and operators to represent the value of something. An equation is a mathematical statement that equals to two expressions. So, what exactly is it? It is a sentence fragment that represents a single digit. For example, 4m plus 5. So as you can see it, it consists of two numbers and only one operation, that is addition. 4 stands for coefficient and m stands for variable, plus stands for operation, and 5 stands for constant.
So aside from mathematical, there is also a mathematical sentence. So mathematical sentence is a correct arrangement of mathematical symbol that states the complete thought. It is the proper use of symbols like like to complete a sentence like equal, greater than, and less than sign. And also, this a sentence can always be true, can always be false, or sometimes true or false. Let's have an example here. The first example here is 3 plus 5 is equals to 8. So this statement is true because if you add 3 and 5, it is equals to 8. And another example here is 7 plus 2 is equals to 8. So this statement is false because if you add 7 and 2,
Tagay niya.
it is equals to 9 and not 8. So, another example here is 2 plus 3 is less than 5. So this statement is also false because 2 plus 3 is not less than 5. It is equals to 5. And the symbol that is used there is not correct. And also, there's a sentence that can be sometimes true and sometimes false. So, the example is 2 plus x is equals to 5. The statement
Kagaya ni
can
Kuya.
be true or false. It depends on the value of x.
Ato, kadungdong
The
kailan
value
isa
of
sa
x
malo.
there is 1. So the statement will be false because 2 plus 1 is equals to 3 and not 5. So it is false. But if the value of x there is 3, so the statement is true because 2 plus 5 is equals to 3. So next.
There are three characteristics of mathematical language, and those are precise, concise, and
Buhat ka ng
powerful.
kuan, project.
Sabi bata eskwela na sa inyo?
Ha?
Sabi bata eskwela sa inyo?
Usay pangan.
Clarence James lang.
So,
Ito rin eskwela na.
the first characteristic of mathematical language is precise. So, we can call a mathematical language is precise because it's able to make very fine distinctions. So we have a 1 is not equal to 11.
Sa the course niya.
A little manipulating of
Sa the
number
course
like
niya.
1 is
Secondary.
like 1 is not equal to 11. This is one of the reasons why math is considered an exact science. So because of being precise of mathematical language, we can determine that
Dagang bitaw?
1 is not equal to 11 because they have different value. So next is PIMDA. So by applying this rule, we can create a proper order of solution in solving mathematics that enable us to make the correct answer.
Alam mo na miss na.
And there are common mathematical symbols such as operators. In operators, there are 4 operations: division, addition, subtraction, and multiplication. But the most common operation are the subtraction and addition, also known as positive and negative. We commonly see in pregnancy tests, blood tests, drug tests, and etc. Variables are the letters that represents a number, and the common variables are x and y. Greek letters such as pi and etc. Okay, so we are here to tackle about the verbal phrases and algebraic expressions. So, first, what is verbal phrases? Okay, so it is an expression that the term in mathematics that describes a group of variables, numbers, and operators. So, the second characteristic of mathematical language is concise. So now we have here a list of verbal phrase and its corresponding expression. So the word sum represents the operation called addition. And when we say a number, it is a letter that represents a number or also known as variable. Next, the word more than, it represents the operation called addition. And the word plus, obviously it represents the operation called addition.
Pero wag mo ko sa
So,
ari nag-ato na
the word increase from low to high, so it is So it represents the operation called addition. The decrease means from high to low, so it represents the operation called subtraction. So as we go back to our senior high and junior high school math lessons, instead of using x sign for multiplication, we have substitute it through using a dot or a parenthesis since x is literally a variable. So, mathematical language being powerful because it has an ability to express thoughts with relative ease so that most people can understand them. So, being able to interpret language in a range of mathematical contexts and for different purposes is fundamental to mathematical problem solving. So, the brightest mind in history, which literally means that all of these philosophers has laid and built a foundation on how we understand mathematics. And in a very long time, we realize that we have proved that it only takes one formula to alter the course of humanity. So we have here Isaac Newton's law of universal gravitation. So, Isaac used a mathematical formula related to the motions of objects in connected to gravity. Next, Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. So, thought of an equation that could explain the universe as a whole. So that was Albert Einstein's formula. Next is the Pythagorean theorem. So, Pythagorean theorem has the oldest equation in the list. So, this formula used in surveying, astronomy, engineering, and many more. Next is Maxwell's equations. So, it is a set of scientific equations that generates electricity. So, as what we have experienced right now, we are much more thankful to Maxwell because it's not because of him we don't have electricity as what we have experienced right now. So next is the second law of thermodynamics. So this states that energy always flow from higher concentration to lower concentration. Next is calculus. So this shown that definition of the derivative in different. Next is Schrodinger's equation. So this equation describes how the quantum states of a quantum system changes with time. Next is the information theory. So this is a branch of mathematics that studies the coding of information in the form of sequence. Next is logarithms. So logarithms adopted by early navigators such as scientists and engineers nowadays. Next, the last one is chaos theory. So this is another branch of mathematics that studies the complex of system. So once again, this is Group 2 presenting about the mathematical language and symbols.